Tune in to episode 99. We have Carrie here. She's going to shine some light on the issues.
You're listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Joe Ferranti and Jerry Kenna. Produced by Nathan Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode is brought to you by Wash, because laundry shouldn't cost your time. Wash delivers. Sign up at pickupwashdeliver.com. Do the wash. Skip the hassle.
Welcome, Between Two Bridges, episode 99. Here with Jerry, and on the guest couch we have Carrie Lewis DelRosso. Care to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. So, thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Very happy to be with two Riverview alumni here, even though I'm not from Riverview. I've been paying the taxes for 25 years. So, Carrie Lewis DelRosso, grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, came to Pitt, 17-year-old, and stayed here. Stayed in the lovely southwestern Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. Love it, love it. Love Oakmont. I'm just happy to be here. I was a state representative. I was lieutenant governor nominee in 2022. I now work in government relations for Buchanan Ingersoll Rooney. I love my job. I'm downtown at the Union Trust Building. I primarily do some government relations lobbying for certain clients, but I primarily do business development. So if you want to get in with a certain county in the state, since I've been in 67 of them, I probably know somebody. So they call me and I call my friends, and next thing you know, we've got some business deals.
Yeah,
so
it's a breath of fresh air for us because we just bitch about politics. We really don't know how they work. So it's nice to hear someone that knows how they work a little bit.
Anytime I have any questions, I need somebody I need a connection in Pennsylvania. I need somebody I can talk to that knows how this works, or I need a contact within the state that can help me get through to somebody that knows how something works. I call Carrie because Carrie knows somebody.
Yes, or one of my colleagues knows somebody. I work in a very bipartisan office now. I'm not Carrie the Republican anymore. I'm Carrie the Buchanan, Ingersoll Rooney employee, which is great. I do have friends on both sides. I'm still active, I have to be. But I'm able to pick up the phone no matter what county you're in, no matter what party you're in,
it's good to know.
Hopefully get a business deal going.
That's good to know. I probably should call you more often.
Yes.
So, I always just figure it out later.
Yeah.
Pay too much and figure it out as I go.
Yeah.
So I've had some very expensive lessons in my life.
Well, and when Jerry calls normally, it's about maybe a tax code or a rev code. And I'm so proud of the gentleman I have in Philadelphia that was actually the executive or deputy treasurer's office. He was like the guy, chief of staff. The man is a genius. And when I have a tax question or a rev code, I'm like, Hugh, I have a question.
Hey, Hugh, where's my ERC credit money at, Hugh?
That's the feds, bud. That's not. You
the
can't help with that.
You need to call DC for that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. So how's Pennsylvania as far as business development? Are there any programs that Pennsylvania's doing to help with business development? And is it county level? Is it state level? Is there anything going on as far as that goes?
Well, right now, if you didn't know, it's going to be October in a week, and we still do not have a state budget passed. Oh. Which is problematic, almost 3 months late. Counties are running out of money. They're threatening layoffs. Nonprofits don't have their money. And this mostly like the Department of Human Services, they're getting strapped up. So that's one problem that we're seeing right now in the state of Pennsylvania. The good news is, though, there's been a lot of money promised through the federal government, especially with having Dave McCormick as our senator, who's been a champion with the Department of Energy and working with AI infrastructure. He's been honing in on a lot of that in Pennsylvania, especially in southwestern Pennsylvania, because we have, the greatest schools here between CMU, Pitt. We just have a great academia system here, Duquesne. I can keep naming them, but it's kind of neat that the money's going to come in. The question is are we ready for it from an infrastructure perspective, and can the local governments handle the changing, the zoning, things like that? So economic development is any governor or anyone's priority. And we shall see what happens in this state budget in terms of where the money will start shifting, because they have not come to a deal yet. They have to come to a deal and see where things are on the table. The governor has always kind of been in that Reggie mode, which is, the regional greenhouse gas initiative, which other states have entered into. And it's threatened our energy industry, which we have the Marcellus here. Like, there's just so much energy behind us here. So if we can kind of pull back on that a little bit, we won't lose business to Ohio and West Virginia on the southwestern corridor. Yeah,
it's funny because one of the only things I've ever gotten as a business owner was they had that energy efficiency grant program where they'd match half of your project. And that's the only thing and it worked. I got $9,000. I was like, well, that's great. Placed an air compressor.
Yeah.
So they have all these programs, but with a budget not being passed, they don't know how much they can allocate for these programs now.
How does a business owner find out what kind of funding like that is out there?
Well, right now, actually it closed on Tuesday, the RACP grants that are match grants through the governors and the Office of the Budget, which is more of economic expansions or economic development, anything that's going to tie into economic growth. But you have to have the match for that. So if you're asking for $500,000, you need the $500,000 cash up front. But there's people that ask for 18 million or things like that. So it could, if you have the money to back you up, you can get some of that money if your state representatives and your state senators and county officials are willing to back you and support you. It's going to pull in economic drivers, right? But
you kind of circle back to we had an opportunity. I think Edgewood, Penn Hills, when Amazon was coming in. It was an opportunity for that area. And then the old regime around here, for some reason, is I don't care how good it's going to do or how great it's going to be. You can't put all those trucks on my street. So you see that all the time in Western Pennsylvania.
It's not just in Western Pennsylvania. Right now, Amazon is investing a ton of money up in Luzerne County, and those people are coming with pitchforks. And it's and it's more of the mentality of not in my backyard, but it's just like drilling, right? No one wants you to drill in your backyard.
Right.
But think about the amount of money that you can have. And look, I'll be the first person to say that I think natural gas is one of the safest, cleanest ways to extract energy from the ground. And we have a lot of it here, but we have a lot of opposition. And those people are loud. And look, rightfully so. They don't want it in their backyard, and I respect them for that. But at the same time, there's so much oversight with that, with the Department of Environmental Protection, that there's not really a bad thing that can come out of it, So and we have a lot of it here.
If you don't grow, you die, and some people just don't want to grow.
And let me just go off on a tangent for that, because I will say this, because I'm a member of the Marcellus Shale Coalition through my company, Buchanan. We just hosted up in Erie, a reception. I happen to be on the sub-working group chairing the messaging committee, just basically public relations with that. And what people who are against it don't understand, and I'm just saying, just say that's a mom and she's mad and she thinks, but look, see this cell phone?
Right.
Yeah.
Or in April, our power got shut down.
Yeah,
we lived without power for 6 days. It was like bedrock.
Yeah. A natural gas generator would have just ran your whole house.
We need the electricity. We need the power grids. We need the line workers, and we've lost a lot of that. So sorry to go off on a tangent.
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's sometimes things like that need to be heard. So if you had a project, if any of those grants, like the match grants, if you had a project that qualified for a grant, and you could raise the capital. I assume would a bank loan qualify for a match? I guess it depends on the particular grant.
Yeah, you would have to have that ready to go.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of capital improvements that, like I'm doing one now. I'm not going to say their name, but it's a small business that has that match ready to go. Sometimes banks won't give it. So unless you're going to have that up front, the governor's big on shovel-ready projects. This isn't something that's going to happen in 10 years. He wants it to happen next year.
Right.
So he wants to see the economic development come into
so like a line of credit would probably suffice.
A line of credit that had accessible money, yeah.
Yeah.
So these grants, are you seeing, obviously, leadership in Pennsylvania, at least at a governor level, is different party affiliation than what's going on in D.C.? Are you seeing they have very different agendas, political agendas? Are you seeing pushback as far as some of these government funded grants where it's becoming harder for Pennsylvanians to be able to secure that kind of money because the feds are not funding grants because the governor of Pennsylvania is pushing back on those kind of projects? Is there kind of a battle going on as far as that goes, or is it hurting Pennsylvanians because of that divide?
I think right now on the Fed side, people are totally upset about tariffs.
Yeah.
That's really killing their bottom line.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are talking about what the exclusion process is. How can we get to the congressman? How can we get to the Pennsylvania delegation and Senator McCormick on that? I've had a lot of calls about that. And right now, I don't see any discourse at the moment between, our state senators and the governing body. Like at this moment, I don't. But I will tell you that, our governor is clearly not a big fan of Trump. And he makes it known, which again, there's the partisanship going on. But the bottom line is, he's got to do what's right for Pennsylvania. And I think, out the gates, he set up like more of a concierge service in his executive branch that is very workable. I will say that. And they've been very helpful on the government relations side when just say, company from California wants to come in and they want to do, excellent, so, they want to expedite work here in the region. He will put them in touch to his business people and then it'll happen. But, the bottom line is how do you navigate that? And it can be tough. But, the airport is booming. Yeah. The airport, has its own energy source. They're doing some really cool stuff out there, which is great. And the airport was always kind of yucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when that airport was new. I remember how exciting that was when that came out, because that happened when we were young.
Yeah.
When is that supposed to be done?
Like October. They're starting to do dress rehearsal openings and stuff. Yeah,
there's a couple events coming up. And I will say that the woman who runs the airport is pretty awesome. She's in forward motion. I'm always in forward motion. I mean, she's very much like, this is what's going to happen. And I've heard her speak it a couple of times. I just went through the Leadership Pittsburgh program, and she totally impressed me. So.
And they did that right too, because they brought in a lot of local contractors, and even smaller companies were able to do some work there.
It's tons of good, like the trades are very much involved. When they have their workforce moving, it's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna miss the Tran with the circle.
Oh,
the tram. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big thing when I was little, and even when I was 40. So I got that going for me.
Yeah.
Circle and lights, man. I'm just like asphyxiated on it. But Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see that they've pretty much rebuilt the whole, like,
Yes.
yeah, it's
The
impressive.
parking is just ease of use, and like it's so much brighter and bigger. Like, I go to the old one now, and I was touring with the new one, and the old one is like, it's gray.
Yeah. Grays and tans.
Yeah.
Landlord tan everywhere.
Yeah.
So there must have been a federal injection of money into airports because, I mean, we go to Key West every year, and you used to get off the plane, and now they have, this year when we go, there'll be terminals where you walk down right into the building, which is kind of unfortunate. I kind of like getting off and just being on the asphalt of the runway.
Right.
So, how did the funding from the airport happen in Pittsburgh? Who paid for the...
Great question. I'm assuming it was probably federal dollars during the Biden administration. Transportation money came in quite a bit. Rich Fitzgerald, who was the county executive and now runs the Southwest Pennsylvania Commission, which is the 10-county arm. He's the executive director now. He's still very much involved, and he's a businessman. I'll be the first person to say it, and he's good. So, bringing money to the region is so important. Making sure it, is actually being used appropriately is the most important thing to do. So transportation is key. And if you drive out by the airport and you see like Moon, South Fayette, all those areas, they're booming.
Yeah, South Fayette was a Class A school when we were in high school 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then
There's 6A now.
look at our area now up here, the Allegheny Valley. Okay.
Stagnant.
That was the area that I represented. I knocked on those doors. Some of those doors, it was very oddly quiet, because there were no jobs. People wanted to be close to their job. They want to be close to their home. So we do need that economic development up this valley, which again, when we talked about that AI data center and the old Chesapeake power plant, I think to myself, oh, please, something work out, because there's no funding. There's just no jobs. How are you going to pay for the roads?
I mean, when we were kids, it was like the Mills was coming in, right? It was exciting. It was great. We were going to have our own Ross Park Mall. They're not only not the Ross Park Mall, they're Century 3 Mall. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, there's definitely, we need some sort of development up this side.
But if you go straight south from here, you go to Cabela's, and it's like, that area is like booming. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they just missed the mark. Like, I get it. They wanted to put mom and pop shops in there, but like, sorry, that doesn't pay the bills. Like, that concept kind of didn't work out too well.
Pittsburgh Mills.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I remember when I was young, going to New Jersey to visit a family friend that lives out there, and going to Franklin Mills Mall, which is owned by the same parent company as Pittsburgh Mills.
Group, yeah.
Same design. And thinking, oh, that's neat. It's all one floor. It's huge. It's, it's the same thing. It's dead too. It's a stupid design. It doesn't work. It didn't work there either. Nobody wants to walk a mile to get to a store. It's silly. 2 stories for a mall works much better, as it turns out. So I think part of it was the design. I think that was definitely part of the flaw of Pittsburgh Mills. I think the mom and pop thing, was almost the second problem, but I think that was almost out of desperation of, we just need to get somebody in here to pay the rent. But I think another part of it too is that when the mall started to fail, they never seemed to lower the rent.
No.
I mean, I was looking at, just out of curiosity one day, I thought, I wonder what rent is there, because it'd be cool to put just like a little tax office in there, just as a...
For the Golden Sneaker Club that walks around.
Right.
Just as
That's like frontage.
just a tax office as a, just for tax preparation.
Yeah.
And the rental cost of that was astronomical. Yeah. And I'm thinking, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
And when I spent a lot of time in my district, at District 33, those little towns, Toronto, like, I loved them. Like, there was more to be had in that frontage, I think, down there, that people were just neglecting. And I look at Natrona Heights now. I mean, they've even lost their community market. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, the community market was out there.
Yeah, it's gone. But like, the bottom line is you talk about affordable housing. That's the government, affordable housing. It's like, I tell them all the time, go up the valley. There's beautiful homes that you can get at an affordable price, and you can walk to school.
Right.
You can go right over the hill. And then, people like that hometown feel. I mean, that's why I stayed in Oakmont. I mean, that's why I love Riverview.
This area has a ton of community pride.
Oh,
right?
listen.
Like, if you're from the Highlands, you're a Golden Ram. That's just the way it is, and it's generational, and it's just the way it is.
Yep.
And don't ask us about the Raiders, because we are the Raiders, the mighty, mighty Raiders. And it's funny because people, we've made people honorary Raiders because they're like, your friend group and this community feel is so awesome. And that's one thing I really miss because we're in O'Hara now, and it's so spread out that it doesn't have that down street feel to it. But the community pride around here is great. And when you're saying about these towns like Tarentum, that went in, and everybody for, maybe a year or two, they left Tarentum to go to the mills. And then these small businesses in Tarentum suffered. They died on the cross. And they were like, oh, well, you can come up and rent off of us, but you own your building and your rent will only be $6,000 a month up here. And it's like, what? Yeah. What is going on here? So terrible.
There's something that you lose in a town like O'Hara or Plum. Every morning, I get up and I sit on my front porch this time of year because it's nice and cool in the morning. And I'm usually this time of year, especially because it's still dark in the morning when you get up. I get up 5:30, 6 o'clock, so it's still dark. And I get my coffee and I sit on the front porch in the dark.
Yeah.
And I'm out there and until it's light out. You know, and there's something about just sitting on the front porch and people are walking their dog in the morning and walking the kids to school, and having a walkable sidewalk community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where people drive 50 miles an hour in a 25 zone. And, it's just that there's something special about that.
Yep.
My wife's from Plum, and when we were deciding to move in together, we looked at some townhouses in Plum, and we looked at some apartments in Oakmont, and where do you want to go? And we ultimately obviously decided Oakmont because Oakmont's a sidewalk town. It was just such a cool little town. It's a little grid, and it's just such a homey little town.
Yeah.
And I was born and raised in Oakmont. My mom was born and raised in Oakmont. Her parents were born and raised in Oakmont, and her grandparents immigrated here from Italy.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's raise our kids here. Yeah. And it's also neat that my kids go to school where I went to elementary school, and some of the teachers, the elementary school teachers, most of them I don't really know. Most of them are young, so I don't know them. I think it's the librarian is my 10th grade civics teacher, so I think that's kind of funny.
We've talked about her in 9 of the 99 episodes.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Miss McCurry.
It's Mrs. Madden now, but it was Miss McCurry then.
Lynn?
Yeah.
I just saw her tonight at Oakmont.
Wait, look at you, adult over here saying first names.
Yeah,
we
she's
know
the
first
best.
names.
No,
We're not allowed to say first names.
She's the sweetest.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that she was up there first.
Yeah, she was a 10th grade civics teacher.
At the high school.
At the high school. And now she's the librarian. So she taught me, she taught my little brother, and now she's my kid's librarian.
Aww.
But the secretary that retired a year or two ago was the secretary
Miss
there.
Nancy.
Yeah.
Fancy Nancy.
Alsop. Her husband was our art teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
And also her art teacher.
And also her art teacher.
Well, and I think about it. I mean, I had 3 kids up there at once. So, I mean, they, how they do the clap out. My daughter was getting clapped on. Well, I'm done. I need to be clapped down the street, because my time was up. But the amount of that community, the kids can fall out of bed and run across the street. It's.
Tell me about it. I live across the street.
It's a gem. And my kids have loved Riverview. I mean, does it have its, it's the smallest thing sometimes. And
it has its flaws.
Yeah, but all schools do, right? And my oldest, who will be graduating this year, who's the starting center, is
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Riverview Raiders. He has absolutely loved that school, and he loves his teachers, and he's I'm sorry to say this, but he's very smart. I think we've gotten a great education. So you know, you talk about, you know, getting your return on investment. We'll see what happens, you know, when he goes, you know, he's going to start doing his college applications, and pretty sharp kid.
He's a senior?
Yes.
Any idea where he's going to go?
We have looked at a couple, and not yet.
He hasn't decided yet?
He hasn't. And you know what? I've told him it's got to be his fit.
Yeah.
Like when I came to Pitt, I was like, oh no, this is it. And my mother was like, it's 6 hours away. And I'm like, I'm going here. I'm going here. And that's that. And I did. And I never came home, you know, which is
well, that's why she didn't want you to come here.
Right. Well, but no, I don't. We'll see. I mean, I will say this. I love Cleveland. I think Cleveland is pretty amazing. Now I've grown up going back and forth to Penn State because of my dad, and we'll see.
As long as it's not WVU, right?
No, we're not going to West Virginia. Yeah. We're not going to West Virginia. Although I was just in Philadelphia, and I'm like, what about Penn? I'm like, maybe Penn. Like, he's a sharp kid, so we'll see. And again, he's got to tell me.
He's got to make the decision, yeah.
Right, because he's got to live there and do it. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I have a senior, I have a sophomore, I have a freshman. So we're all living at the high school right now. And I'm very impressed. Tonight was open house. Couldn't get a parking spot. What's great about seeing something like that is the parents care, right? Like, and you go to some schools right now, and if the parents aren't involved, sorry, success goes down. I don't care how much SPP
so teachers only have them for 8 hours a day.
Right, and it's not the teacher's responsibility to follow that kid home.
100%.
It's the parents, and it's our guidance at home that will make that kid
It drives
better
me
student.
crazy when there's a snow day nowadays, and like, because I mean, we didn't experience snow days when we were in school because the walkability of Oakmont.
Yeah.
But like, parents are like, well, what am I supposed to do? And it's like, all right, well, let's go back to the birds and bees.
Yeah.
All right, you had an option. This is your option. You wanted to have children. You're going to raise your children. COVID happens. It sucks, but you're going to raise your children. It's your job also.
Yeah. So that was kind of my point when you said that you were happy with the education that your kids got from Riverview. I think that your kids can get a good education at Riverview. There's probably kids that maybe don't get the education that the parents wish they got from Riverview. But maybe they needed to be a little bit more dedicated to the, you know what I mean? You get what you put into it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
if you're involved,
that's at every
you have to
level
be
of
involved.
education.
But that's every school.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to be involved, right? You have to pay attention, and you have to be there to kind of make sure that your kids are getting the education that you are paying for. Whether it's a public school, but you're still paying for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
My kids, they go to like one of the best ranked elementary schools in the state at Fairview, and I have a tendency they send a lot of, they're getting better, but they used to send a lot of emails, and it was like the same thing. So like Graham's, my son, he started in the first grade, and I ignored a bunch of emails, and his first spelling test came home from school, and he got like 0 out of 18. And I'm like, oh. And then Mrs. Reese, the teacher, was like, emails the spelling word. So we were doing math homework all week, great. But like, I thought maybe we weren't on spelling yet. So like, he never got the word. So like, you think about that. And like, this was an honest mistake this time. Won't happen again. And like, parents need to be involved.
Right.
You need to have someone. It doesn't have to be a parent. You have to have someone at home that cares.
And you know, it's interesting because like I have a 15-year-old, and I was going to open house tonight. The football team, a couple of them grabbed dinner. I got the phone call, and it was like, Mom, I'm going to go over Nate's house and hang out, and then I'm going to come home. And I'm like, where's your homework?
Right.
Where's your homework? And he's like, well, I only have a couple of things to do, but I'll be home by 9 and I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay. And if you get on that video machine without your homework done, I'm taking the phone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some sort of consequence. And I'm that mom. I mean, I'm pretty hard on it.
Yeah,
And that's
you
my
have to
second
be.
son.
You're just doing your job.
Exactly. And parenting is the hardest job ever.
100%.
Hardest job ever.
So our wives don't ever watch this show, but we've given them credit 100,000 times in 99 episodes that like they have the hardest job in the world. A stay-at-home mom is like, it's like being all the parts of the world at once, especially for younger kids, like because
I stayed home with 3 under 3.
Yeah, and I feel like my wife, and that's funny because that's like one of my funniest stories of childhood. So my daughter goes to Discovery School, comes home with head lice, you're campaigning, and my wife is having a day. And you're knocking on the door and she goes, unless you want to pick head lice off this kid, and like goes to hand you our child. And you're like, sweetie, I can help. I mean, what? Like you were just like, so like, I've been down this road before.
I have. You know, I had the changing tables on every floor. I mean, I joke about it, but I mean, it really prepared me for who I am now. Yeah. And look, I didn't work when they were little. And as soon as my youngest went to preschool full time, that's when I started my consulting job. Yeah. I was knocking on doors in Oakmont to run for council, and I was doing PR and doing some contract work. I was working for the district, and I was doing what I could. I was using my brain, you know. Yeah. And that milfed into something else. Yeah,
it's thankless too. A mom is just absolutely thankless.
Well, listen, every once in a while, they do thank you. Every once in a while. And normally, you know, and daughters are the worst. They'll tell you, like, they'll blow up at you.
Yeah.
But every once in a while.
Mine's only 7. She already blows up at me, so I can't wait until she's a teenager.
Yeah. The doors, the slamming of the doors. I'm usually having 2 boys slam each other against the wall.
Well, I got a story for that. So this was a handful of years ago, 2-3 years ago. My kids were actually playing. They weren't even fighting. They were legit playing, horsing around, chasing each other around the house. Ainsley was running from Vinny. She runs into the bathroom, the powder room on the first floor, slams the door. He runs in and pushes the door. Door hits her right in the eyebrow. Splits her eyebrow in 2. God. Blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, Vinny's going to be a defense lawyer because he definitely did that shit on purpose and got you tricked.
No, we were home. Like we were witness to the whole thing. Like it was completely innocent. And he just broke down in tears. Like, oh my God, I just broke her. Because she's 7 now, so she was 4, and he was just destroyed that he hurt her, and she's crying, blood everywhere. So we're like, in the car, Children's Hospital, let's go. Take her to the hospital. We had to tell the doctors so many times. Every time a new nurse or doctor or whoever came in.
So what happened?
So what exactly happened? And we had to tell the story again. Because I don't think they were convinced that one of us didn't just give her a whack or something. And every time the story was the same. Like they were playing and he ran in and hit the door and it hit her in the head. And by the end of it, they were like, yeah, okay, this was just these kids being kids. But they had to stitch her up. She was a trooper and she was good. They gave her, I don't know, some medicine and she was high as a kite. And they stitched her up But yeah, kids.
Another great resource in our region, Children's Hospital.
Yes. Oh goodness.
Huge. Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. We do have some we have good health systems here.
We do. We really do.
But you know, one of the things after politics, my very dear friend Dom Leo, who love him so much.
One of the best.
He is one of the best. He called me and said, "Well, now that you have more time, I'd like you to run the boosters for all the sports." And I'm like, wait, no. Like, of course, I always want to say no. Carrie, think about it. Carrie, this is your wheelhouse.
He's a good salesman, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you know, he's awesome. Him and his wife are like my dearest friends in the whole wide world. And I took it on.
Yeah.
And I took it on, and Dom said to me, it's not that much work. Well,
famous last words.
Well, and you know what? It doesn't have to be, but it needed to be organized because I saw the development that was happening at Riverview. The sports, parents were very engaged in all sports. Like, you know, back in the day, Riverview was no soccer. Well, I got girls soccer, I got boys soccer, I got football, I got junior high soccer, I got junior high football, I got baseball. I started a junior high baseball team because my kid wanted to play. So me and the kids from Verona were stellar athletes, and we were like, all right, so I took my PAC money and I was like, let's start a baseball team, like next thing you know. I mean, so this is where I started to get involved, and Domly was like, you got this. And really, I got myself a really good board. Molly Walsh is now my vice president. Emily Earl-Jack Aftanis. She's my secretary, and she's my right left hand voice of Carrie. Don't say that kind of pounding on me. She's the best. And Megan Orbich is my treasurer now. She's got PNC financial background, and she's really great. And you got 4 crazy moms that are ready to hit it hard together. And we handle about 14 sports.
Did he was he running the boosters for the school, or was it individual and then he kind of invented that spot?
So actually, Moochie Donachucci, if you know Moochie, she was approached by the school because back when it was just really football, it was really just the alumni association.
Right.
So Dr. Danino at the time was like, we have to legitimize this. We have to do this like by policy. So she's kind of started that up. And then Moochie started that kind of division of the Raiders Athletic Boosters Association, which was probably almost 7 or 8 years ago. I don't remember. And then Dom took it over, and basically any sport who wanted, the way the bylaws were written, any sport that wanted to buy in had to come in with like $100 and say, we're going to be a sport now. So tennis, whatever. And so I will say we have a significant amount of money that we have.
Well, that was this year when we didn't run the golf outing this year, but I knew that you guys were in a good spot.
Well, and I think fundraising has changed, right?
Yeah.
Like we would love to do a golf outing, but who has time anymore? We're dealing with our own kids. So we've kind of every
that kind of broke my heart. That was like our day out. It was such a good time, but like I just didn't have the time and didn't have the people. Like you say, you have a great board, but to circle back to like when they started the alumni golf outing, a friend of the show, I guess you could call him, he started the Gridiron Club like 17 years ago. And that little gentleman owned Carnivores at the time. And like, I don't think people realize like the community needs good business owners, right?
Yep.
And so like, then it became the alumni group, so we did that outing for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So it was crazy, but then the people like they grow up, they have their own kids, and then you move to Fox Chapel and you move to Deer Lakes, and like it's like, wait, I can't give my time and energy to this program when I'm giving all my energy to other things.
Yeah, I think that one of the things though we can look at even as a whole booster is that to see if we can do it as all the sports. I'm not saying like we won't take away from football, but the problem with that is that everyone wants a piece. And I will say this: we've gotten to a point with it that no one's arguing, which is wonderful.
Which is nice.
Which is, I mean, like we're banded together. We're going to meet at Vinny's on October on the 5th. We meet like quarterly, and we go over the numbers, and it's been wonderful. I mean, like the district, we give them all their paperwork. Sometimes people in the district will ask a lot of questions, and then I'll call the superintendent. I'll be like, let me explain something to you. This is the policy. This is how we're doing it. And him and I talk to each other and we work it out. The business manager and I, same thing. I will tell you that communication relationship has been very good.
Yeah, that's impressive. Your ability to adapt and overcome, right? Right, because you got us in trouble. Yeah. Like we were in the newspaper because of you. And then
with
the T-shirts.
With the T-shirts,
and then Dom retired because of the T-shirts, and everybody retired because of the T-shirts.
I'm sorry.
And now here you are running the whole thing.
Well, and
adapt and overcome.
You go through these phases. When I will say this: I left politics. I don't know if the boosters' parents were a little tough at first. It was a little tougher than I thought. But one thing that I think are all in agreement with now, and I know we wanted to talk about this, but is the park lights.
Yeah,
Riverside Park lights.
Thank you for listening. And now a brief word from our sponsor. You've got a full plate. Kids, meetings, workouts, side hustles. There's better things to do than laundry. Introducing Wash, laundry reimagined for the modern world. Schedule your pickup in seconds via the convenient web app. Wash picks up your clothes, cleans with care, and brings them back fresh and ready to wear. But it's more than garments. From bedding and table linens to shoes, hats, purses, and more. Wash handles all your life's fabric, leaving you more time to do you. Visit pickupwashdeliver.com and see how convenient it can be to do the wash. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, so what can you, because I know I've seen
The posts.
I've seen bits and pieces. I want to know the whole story, because the bits and pieces that I've heard and been told
Aren't adding up.
they aren't adding up, because it seems like what I've heard, it's like, well, why the hell are we not doing this? Well, but maybe I'm just hearing bits and pieces from the people that are all pro lights.
Yeah, before you get into this, because she's going to have a lot of the answers, right, the problems here. I want to go back to like a week before the U.S. Open. I went to the Oaks Theater for their meet and greet. And the guy from the USGA stood up and said, we are buying lights for Riverside Park. From what I've heard, this isn't true. There's a lot more money that needs to come to the table.
Right, they gave a donation. And the donation was for the parks, and the donation was supposed to be geared towards the lights.
But it was like hundreds of thousands of dollars short, I think.
So
okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Let it fill us in.
But hold on. Let me ask a little follow-up to that. Was that a separate donation because they also leased the park to park cars in it and, forgive my French, fucked it all up? Was that separate from the money that they gave Oakmont to fix the field? Or was that in addition to the money to fix the field that took, 4 months for them to actually fix it? Or was that in addition? Was that the same money? Or was there two separate checks that was supposed to come from the USGA?
okay, so
And now you're off. We figured we get all these questions in first.
no. Well, no, and those are good questions. About 4 months before the USGA came in, the contract, the lease was on the agenda, and I went to the meeting. And this was on the Borough Council meeting. And I sat in the audience, and they discussed that the US Open, the USGA, had come to them and wanted not just Riverside Park, but Creekside, and they wanted the lower park, and they were offering the same amount of money to lease it as they did 10 years ago.
And how much was that? You could ballpark it.
And maybe 15,
$15,000?
but it might be less. So, and look, my eyeball went like this, and I actually leaned over and I looked at everyone and I went, that was, I needed to hear what their offer was.
Creekside wasn't even in play 10 years ago.
Correct. So, and just so you know too, I think, and I try to play this in the right state of mind here, is that this is a contract issue, right?
Like negotiation.
Right. This is part of the negotiation. So I think what they did was they came back, they settled on an amount to use the field, not use the lower part of the park, use Creekside too. And I think that they had worked that out. Now, the bottom line is that they're going to park the cars everywhere. Did they expect torrential rain? Probably not, So realistically, the field is a regular field.
Right.
It needed a lot of TLC before they even parked.
It's a yard.
Right.
They play football.
Right. They do. So, that is what it is. But my concern too was they parked all over the baseball field. The baseball field was an absolute mess too before that. So they came in after the fact.
Mr. Beebe would have had a heart attack.
So I went down and I took as many pictures. I took pictures when the cars were on it. Like, I'm big on, documentation. I work for a law firm. I called the lawyer. I said, okay, I'm recording all of this because my personal opinion as the taxpayer, but not just that, but the boosters president, is that I need these fields in shape, ready to go, so these kids can play on them. And I really don't care how much money is at the table. I can't have these kids get hurt in these fields. So, a couple weeks after, I'm walking up and down the field and I'm dipping in. They're like, they have a mark. Like, you're not supposed to step in it. I'm stepping in it. I'm like, it was my feet. And I'm calling people on the phone. I'm like, this is not ready. I will say that the parks crew was on it as much as they could. John Gentile did a good job with it. He was, as he should, but he only has access to certain things. He would go back and report. I mean, the day the U.S. Open left, I sent a letter. Everyone got it, including the U.S. Open lobbyists who I know personally. And look, they stayed on top of it. The field was not ready for the first scrimmage, but it was ready for the first game. So that was the one thing.
Which was when?
End of August. End of August.
End of August. U.S. Open was beginning of June.
16th.
Middle of June.
Yes.
Got it.
So,
month and a half.
Right. So, they really had to be on top of it. And I will say that the USGA was very responsive. They really were. The borough worked hand in hand with them. The district was on top of it because I send emails every 3 days. Emily F. Tanis, if I didn't send the email, Emily F. Tanis was. I mean, she was riding it too. And it was more so because people were worried about
kids getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that worked out. But to go back to the initial conversation we started having about the lights. So
wait, did we get any more money from the USGA for the repair of the park, or was that supposed to come out of the lease fee?
I don't know. That is a question that I would be asking Borough Council, because as far as I know, that they did buy a new roller. They were rolling the field. I think that was something that was borough kind of expenses. And the field was really not, once they put the sod down, once they pulled it up and stuff like that, it was not in great condition.
It wasn't in great shape before the USGA was there.
Right.
Right.
So it wasn't.
So it was basically like put it back to where it was. And so, like, if you see pictures of it a couple years ago, it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's a lot of clover.
Yeah, and look, if you want that to be an expense as part of the district and the borough need to work that out going forward. And there needs to be better communication with those two entities, because the district leases it off the borough.
Yeah, so we should clarify that for anybody that's listening that doesn't know. So the school, because I think a lot of people don't understand that.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
The school does not own that field. That field is owned by Oakmont Borough.
It's a community park.
Yeah, it's a community park owned by the borough that the school leases from the borough for use for the sports teams, whether it be for baseball, the football team, the soccer team, whatever it may be. RAA also uses it and leases it from the borough for Little League baseball or whatever other youth sports organizations.
Right. And we also pay for some of the staffing because of the maintenance. I think the district does. They work that out. And it's been quite a nice deal because
for both entities, you think?
I think for the district as well. I think that the borough manager and the superintendent have worked things out in the past. And look, the bottom line is they did move very quick to get that field ready for football and soccer. Football and soccer was the priority. So,
I guess townships around us have had similar problems between school districts and boroughs with the fields. You saw it in Springdale. They couldn't see eye to eye on whatever. I'm not privy to the information, but Springdale decided, hey, we'll just build our own.
So Springdale Borough owned the field down by the river.
Correct.
They decided to abandon that field. They built their own stadium up on the hill.
Well, they've always had that stadium.
Yeah.
They just turfed it.
They turfed it,
They've always had lights. They've always had a beautiful concession stand up the hill. But that's where their soccer normally plays. They turfed it. And their turf is nice.
And they moved the football team up there.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And God love them, because I don't even know if they're going to have a football team. God love them. I don't even know if they have enough kids.
Yeah. But when we played down by the river.
Right. Well, I guess there was an engineering structural problem with the wall.
Yeah.
and they couldn't come to terms on who was going to pay to fix the wall. And they were like, we have 11 kids on our football team. We'll just play on the soccer field. Like, it is gorgeous up there, though. It really makes it pop. And it's not an option at Riverside Park because of the multi-use. Like, how are you going to do it with
And there's
baseball?
no other real estate in Oakmont to build another field.
The real
They
estate
could have done it
is worth so
at
much
Creekside.
that unless it's gifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have done it at Creekside, but
The
I don't
floodplain.
know. That's the floodplain down there and the stormwater issues and how many things have been wiped out from the 2019 flood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to waste
It'd
your
be a
money
great
on it.
news story to see the Riverview Raiders field just balled up in the corner of the Big Bend because they could just wash it out. And we could start a GoFundMe page or something. But
yeah.
so I mean, there's been like people our whole lives that have kind of made that work. And then all of a sudden it seemed like when you try to expand it into like talk about something new, like everybody's cool with it the way it is. But then when you talk about lights, it's like, well, wait a second here.
So the newest issue is, so part of the deal with the USGA was that they were supposedly buying lights. Did they say during that meeting, because I didn't make that meeting, I had something come up.
That was their exact wording. And then throughout the media, you've heard that they've made an investment. I think it was $100,000 towards lights.
Mm-hmm.
But then I heard that the lights are going to cost $800,000.
They've always been that much money because here's the deal. If you're going to light one sport, you have to light all sports.
Right. You got to light the park.
You got to light it. You got to worry about baseball. You got to worry about girls softball. You got to worry about it all. So the way the light plan that the chair, Tony DeScala, put out, he put out the North Hills and showed how the park was going to, everything would be
Illuminated.
lit up. Yes. And it makes sense, right? Like if RE is going to be down there, it makes sense. I mean, the basically, I'm assuming they will charge fees for these kinds of things, and that will make it pay for itself. What myself and I think it was probably almost a year and a half ago, we sat down with the school district, the borough, and and the chair, Mr. LaScala, and we talked through the numbers. What does this look like? How much do we need? Where's going to be the deficit? Who are we going to get the money from? Our local representatives, Senator Costa and Representative McAndrew, completely on board. But state only has so much money to give out. So they initially got that. I think they got $275 to start it out. And I think the deficit's about $500,000 right now.
So 275 plus the 100?
No, plus the 100. So then it'll be a 375, almost 400. And then they still need, I think the number that I saw most recently on the pro forma was close to 900.
What's a great down payment?
Well, you know me, I'm like, all right, start it in phases. Get the football and the soccer field lit up and then, do it in phases. But, I can only push it so far.
It's funny because I've told Jerry this, but I had the pleasure of talking with Aaron Rodgers for a little bit when he first came to Pittsburgh, just like a happenstance interaction. And we were talking about Friday Night Lights, right? And contrary to like this wanting the lights, maybe I'm getting old. I was like, I don't know, man. We played Saturdays at noon. It was kind of cool. And he's like, what? I was like, yeah, fire whistle blew. We kicked the ball off. And back when we were in school, there was 4,000 people at the park on Saturday at noon because there was no other game in town. But now it's the only field in Whippeal that's not lit.
So the only other school that doesn't have them is Summit Academy, which sits up in Butler County. West Beaver was the other third one, but my buddy, Representative Josh Kale out in Beaver County
got it done.
My boy.
Well, in a stadium setting with lights, you maybe could get an alternate playoff game or something.
Yes.
You could.
Well, and that's what people don't understand is a couple years ago, I think it was the girls' soccer, and now I guess there's girls' soccer, now soccer saying it needs turf. But I think about baseball, and we made states last year. I mean, we are having the teams come to the table now, and we can't offer that because we don't have the lights. And being one of two in the entire Whippeal, and like people joke, they're like, it's Oakmont. I'm like, yeah, but it's more of a who's going to allow it to happen. And, we had some pushback. I watched the council meeting. This is what ignited me, was watching the council meeting and people calling me on the phone and people saying, they're saying no to the lights. I'm like, it's not even on the table yet. It's not even on the table yet.
The pushback. Okay, so where is the pushback coming? Is it the financing? Is it people don't want them? And if they don't want them, why do they not want them?
So the two oppositions that were really down there were 3rd Street residents. They get mad during the night games because there's more traffic. They get mad because the parking is an issue. People are parking in front of people's driveway, which is understandable. I actually called one of the women and I was like, what can I do to help? Like where's, because these lights need to come, right? Like I understand your concerns, but is it a community police issue? Is it the fact that we need to put up red tape on the right side of the street and no one can park there on certain nights? Like what is it needs to be done? Like that's a council issue. And I think that, I've talked to Mr. LaScala about that too. I'm like, look, I sent an email out the day after I'm hearing there's trouble. Okay. Where's the police reports? And has there been police reports over the last 5 years during these night games that happen once a year or twice a year?
Because there's night games, they bring in rental lights and they light the football field,
which is also a
once
safety
year.
hazard.
Right, but what I'm hearing from these people are we're going to have riffraff and we're going to have fight. No. Like, I've never yet to see that. Like, we're not that kind of a town, first of all. There's more cops I've seen down at these, that they're great. They're present, and I'm thrilled to have them. But do they need to shift gears, and do they need to move these kids along? I mean, we played at Springdale last week. The thing, 4th quarter, 2 minutes left. Everyone will leave and exit the premises. The lights will shut off. The cops will be here. Please get in your car and go home. That's all you need to do. Right. This is very simple. And
listen, it's not like we'd be the only ones. We're not reinventing the wheel here.
No,
every other school has
go to
lights.
Leechburg.
It's not like, what are they doing? And not to mention, most of these other schools are in towns with worse crime rates than Oakmont and Verona.
Right.
So I'm sure that they have a bigger problem than we do here. So, okay, what are they doing to curb their crime problem on night games on Friday nights? Do that. And I don't see that really being a big issue. I mean, if people were parking in front of your driveway, that also seems like a pretty easy way to fix it. Park at the end of your driveway. Make it obvious it's a driveway.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe, and I know, because I grew up in this town, that a lot of the houses down there that have driveways, it's kind of hard to notice that they're driveways.
Right. And so, like, if you're blocking their line of sight, right? So my thought is that if these people are getting blocked in, and that was the conversation that I actually had. My daughter was blocked in, she couldn't see. Do me a favor. Flag the police officer down and have them get them out. Like, it's not like we can't do that here.
Right.
Like, it's Oakmont. Like, the police officers are wonderful. Like,
or just call anybody over. Like, just like,
people just get mad to be mad.
Right.
And what's unfortunate is, look,
it's Pittsburgh. We have parking chairs.
Right. Well, and we did have 2 3rd Street residents that were down there, and I loved hearing the guy that actually lives adjacent to the parking lot. His kids don't even go to high school. The kids are younger. And the first thing he said was, I loved it. We had an open house. The kids were running around. Like, this is what there were kids, I don't know if you came down for the night game, kids all over the basketball court, hanging out.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Kids should be with kids.
Right.
This is a community.
It's a school spirit thing.
Right. And but not only that, look, my kids survived COVID. And keeping those kids in the house, it was torturous. And I don't ever want to see that again. We need these kids to get out and be together.
Yeah, I was just talking to Vinny the other day because he's thinking about playing football. He's in 6th grade now.
Oh boy.
Going to 7th next year. And he's thinking about playing football. He's been playing flag football for years, and he's thinking about playing football when he gets down to high school. And I told him, I said, listen, football, once you get to the high school, it's different. Like football, you got to understand, like the NFL is the biggest sport in the world for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's football and there's everything else. Like you go down to the park on a Saturday afternoon, everybody's there. Like the town's down there. Like it's the coolest thing because like the community, like it's not just like people, it's not just the parents that are down there watching their kid. The community's there.
Yeah, that was the coolest part. Like when we were younger, you would go out of bounds and pop up and you'd be like, oh, there's my uncle. Haven't seen him in 3 weeks, like or a month or a year,
My kid will be getting ready to get on the line. I'll look over and I'm like, but I shouldn't be probably doing that. But the thing of it is, it really is, I sit in my same spot, some of our senior moms, we kind of sit together and, it really is like getting together. This week is senior day. I got my senior kid leaving and it's cool.
That's
it
a rough
really
day.
is. And it's look, and that's why Oakmont is a gem. Oakmont and Verona. I mean, I don't want to leave Verona out because listen, some of those kids that live in Verona and we have bonded together. We've made, Riverview one and they're amazing. The families are amazing. I'm very, very happy to be part of the Riverview community. And it's a big deal. Like, so just so you know, I have a letter that's circulating. I will be out over the weekend with it. And I will be asking Oakmont residents and I will be asking Riverview parents to sign it. Because, I mean, Verona, if you ever live in Verona and you don't have kids in the district and you don't have stake in the game, look, you don't feel obligated to sign it. But right. I think that the Oakmont parents and the parents that go to Riverview or parents who had kids at Riverview are going to bring kids up. I think they have skin in the game.
And listen to your kids. Like if you're a parent out there and you're watching this and your kids want this, sign it for them because they want it.
Yeah.
They don't want to be left behind.
So what can parents do to help push Oakmont along? Because right now, where does this decision stand? Like, who is the decision maker in making this happen?
The rec board will meet again in the middle of October. It's the third Wednesday. They will hear parents that come to the table and they will make a recommendation to go forward with the lights. And then what has to happen is the borough will need to have that conversation about if they get the funding for the lights, are they going to put them in?
Yeah. And
so the funding needs to come in too. So this is kind of like a twofold kind of thing. And, I think that, based on some of the grants that they've applied for, I think you could see it happen in a year if we get the funding. And the borough says, yes, go ahead and do it. So
it's up to the park. The rec board is going to hear from parents that come to this meeting.
Parents or residents. So
Parents or residents.
Right.
And then they're going to present that to council?
Yeah, so they'll make a recommendation. That's the way it works in Oakmont is the rec board has to say, we're coming to you and, they have to make the recommendation that they're going to put up the lights. And here's where the plan is, here's what they're going to go for. And then borough council needs to vote on those lights.
And when will that vote happen?
Maybe November or December. They'll probably want to hear, if they want to rush it, it could be something that's on the work session agenda in November, and then it can be voted on in November. But they will want to hear from residents. And that's what my signature is. I mean, I'm on a mission with this. I want our residents to, and look, I could hit roadblocks while I'm out because I'm going to knock doors.
Yeah.
And we'll see what they say. And I think that, look, it's good. It's good to have that sense of community. I didn't move to Oakmont 25 years ago and watch these parades and see how wonderful a community it was not to have that Friday night light. And I think that the kids are ready to have it.
Yeah, Oakmont and Verona, there's a massive sense of community. It's a very tight community. And that Friday Night Lights thing is going to be deep for them. There's definitely a community pride in both of these towns.
Yes.
Well, I know my personal, you have Friday Night Lights once a year. And it's like, if it doesn't gel with my schedule, I haven't been to a football game in 20 years because you have one night, and Saturday afternoons is like, we got stuff going on. So
Well, yeah, you've got kids. You got to go to soccer games or football games or your own stuff.
If I had 6 Friday nights to choose from, we would make it to one. You know what I mean?
Well, and the other thing too, and I need to make this point, is that most of these single A teams that can then host, they're all over the area. So we are in a bus for an hour and a half, or we're driving an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to those games. And I heard people yelling about taxes and things like that. We're paying the transportation money to get everybody there. And that's another huge cost. So if you
So is
gotta
Riverview cracking down on it? Are they going to say that Riverview can't host games because of no lights?
Well, there's been that conversation's been happening for a couple of years with the ADs. They have to work that schedule out, a year ahead of time.
Right.
And I think and our athletic director, he's new, he's full time, which he's great. And he's definitely said it will pull back. And then when it does pull back, as you'll see during like playoffs, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. So we don't want to be that school that can't host a home playoff game in the future.
And then
because
the kids got to go to Shady Side to play a football game.
And I don't want to play at Shady Side. Sorry. Don't.
I will tell you this is the biggest thing.
Although they have great facilities, but that's not our home field.
In athletics in Riverview since Mrs. Lucci and Amy Green brought the soccer to the school. I mean, because that was like our growing up. It was a big, but the town got together and said, look, the school needs soccer,
Yeah.
And the town should get together in this respect and say, look, the school needs lights. Like, it's time.
Well, and the school is 100% on board. They want to do what they can. And if there's a deficit even after the funding, we have even said, like, how can we fund this together?
Can the school contribute into the funding? Not that I want my property taxes to go up.
And here's where I, like, as a booster, we can fundraise for that. And that's what I would think that we would want to do, or the park can fundraise for that, because the school doesn't necessarily own the park, so then it's an asset of the borough. And why would the district?
Why would the school do that?
Yes, and that's what people do not understand is, like,
why
people
is the borough paying for it? The school should be paying for it, but
and
it's
the
not
school
the
can't
personal.
even get a grant for it because it's not their
Right, and they could up the rent to offset the cost.
And that's what the booster is actually for, is that we're there to supplement the fund.
Right.
Yes. So.
Well, I think that if the vote doesn't work out, the booster should buy cribs and just build a stadium there.
I don't know if we'd get the permitting for the stormwater problems.
It'll never happen. The borough's not allowed to do it. Verona won't do it. The cribs was donated to Verona Borough by the Cribs family back a long time ago.
I was at the old Nike site in Deer Lakes last Saturday, and they have a great field and a great concession stand and like a community that comes together for the Pop Warner football. And Riverview has the same thing. It's just hard to rally it all because so many times you're just like, you're screaming into a closet and closing the door.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, maybe I'm old school. Maybe that's my thing. And like my wife laughs all the time because we always tell the same old school football stories. But it's like such an ingrained fabric of who you were for your childhood,
Well, the other thing is too, there's a lot of people that are buying homes right now, especially in like Oakmont the cost of a house has gone up incredibly.
Yeah, where's all that extra money going?
Well, but I will say this, is that they like sports. They like to do community sports, and they want this too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to explain this to some of the people, some of the older generation that is like, but we don't need it. I'm like,
Well, the level of income is different also than when we were growing up. So like these families, if they are not provided with the right stuff, they will take their kids and they will go play at Shady Side. They will go
Central
Catholic.
They're
going to send their kid to Central Catholic. So you did it. It's your fault. I have to ask. We have seen millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of houses being built in Oakmont over the last 10 years, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
20 years. I mean, you start with the Summit, and then you go to Edgewater, and then the new development on Holt Road.
Yeah. Yet over the last 7 years or so, taxes go up and up and up and up. roads deteriorating, programs seeming to get cut at the school, on and on and on. Yet whenever we need lights at the school, at the field, we don't have money for that. We don't have money for this. We don't have money for that. Taxes going up. Why?
Great question. I think that the cost has continued to go up in terms of running a very successful area. I mean, when you look at Oakmont, people are moving in and they wanna live here. But how are they managing it? I mean, I'm not on that council anymore.
Yeah.
I would, some days I want to go down there and be like, what are you doing with my money? But
the leaf crew is not working for $7.25 an hour anymore. Is that what you're saying?
No, everyone, look, you got to pay people, and you also have to realize that.
Something tells me that it's not the leaf crew that's the problem.
No. But, I think that the cost, look, we used to get a ton of liquid fuels money to pave our streets. That's not the case anymore. The gas tax has gone considerably with electric vehicles. There's issues that the money coming into the borough. I'm talking about the borough. District, on the other hand, the cost to run a district has continued to go up considerably. And we have old buildings, and they do a good job with putting things in. Now, they turfed both 10th Street and Verner in the playgrounds. I don't know why, but clearly it's a cost, right? And they do. Their parents are buying here and not I don't know. I don't hear people complaining about, an incremental drive up. But I will say that taxes keep going up. And, yep. Look, I look at my mortgage.
Right.
My escrow. Yeah, my sugar is low. Do you have juice? Or any kind of candy or something?
Yeah, so we talked about inflation's true in budgets and boroughs. So cost of living's going up across the board.
And I will say this, during COVID, a lot of people were given this influx of money and they got used to it.
And it went away.
The other thing is too, we have too many school districts in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No one wants to take away a mascot. No one wants to do a merger. Understandable. But what can they share? What services can they share so they don't keep driving taxes up?
We've heard it since we were kids. Springdale, Riverview merger.
We don't necessarily have to merge. But there are things that can't. Look. We have a co-op softball team. We have a co-op junior high baseball team.
Right.
The golf team too, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what's unfortunate is we just played them in volleyball the other night. Their girls queened us. So they do have some successful teams. I needed to hear that from my daughter. But some of their teams, their soccer teams are still really good. Some of their teams are just falling apart.
Yeah.
So
it's ebbs and flows too. For the next 5 years, their soccer team might be great. And then in 5 years, they might win a Whippeal title in football. You just never know where the kids' minds are at. But
after last weekend, God love them.
I will tell you this, that I see it on every level in my life, that when you have kids, your life changes, right? Mm-hmm. It's about the kids. But when you get into small town politics, they forget that. And immediately, it's like people that live by that park used to have kids that went to that school. And if their kids were still in that school, those lights would be a priority. But their kids aren't there anymore. And they're gone, or they have young kids and they're enjoying it, or they don't have kids at all. But the problem is you got to think for the better good of the kids, right? That's life. Everything I do is for my kids.
Yeah.
So the one lady that was there complaining, she complained at a council meeting. Actually, she complained at a rec board meeting the time before because she was mad about the hockey lights. And of course, I ended up at a rec board meeting because I got a call asking, how much more do we need for lights? So I go running into the meeting. And this lady is complaining about the lights. And I'm like, excuse me, who are you? Of course, me. Who are you? Well, I live down by the park. I moved from Penn Hills. I've been there for 20 years. I'm like, well, I've been here for 25 years. And I'm sorry you moved from Penn Hills because, like, we're getting these lights. Like, I was very upset.
Yeah.
But if people complain about stuff that when you see people having joy around,
Yeah.
I just think they're just mad. There's a lot of still just mad people because they're mad. And that's not something to be mad about.
Yeah, there's so many things to be mad about
Right.
in today's world.
Right. That's
There are
not one of them.
lights so
That's
that
not one of
kids
them.
can have
Let
Friday
there be
night
light.
lights
I know.
and enjoy their team and their alma mater, having Friday night lights and their football team and their baseball teams and their girls softball team and their soccer team, and have that experience and that life.
I don't know. I do have a little bit of mixed emotions about it because, like, being a small school on Friday night, you get caught in the wash, right? Like, everybody plays on Friday night. Your box score doesn't even make the paper. But, like, when we played on Saturday, Sunday's paper was like, boom. It was like the Slippery Rocks of the world and then Riverview High School football, and all your stats were in there. And it was very nice write-up usually about one of the players because they didn't have anything else to write about. But that's 20 years ago. It's done. That's changed. That you can go online right now and find last night's football score on the internet, and it's different now. Like, you can see it all on Facebook Live, you know?
Were you on the 1997 team?
No, but man, those guys, they set some groundwork for us.
Well, I'm laughing because the Springdale Riverview game last year, we beat the record. And we flipped it, and I called Pudge on the phone. I was like, we got your record.
Yeah. The thing I was sparred from in high school football was I graduated in 2002, so 2001 was our last season, and then in 2003, Springdale won against Riverview, and then went on to win a WIPIAL title.
Oh, wow.
So I was glad not to be in school then.
Okay.
That would have been a lot to handle.
Well, and what's interesting to me, and it's heartbreaking too, is that Springdale and Riverview have this rivalry. But honestly, like, my kid has played baseball with most of the kids that he's playing against the line against. So he's like, hey, don't, like, you know, he's having the time of his life. What's sad is that when you don't have the numbers and you get beat up like that, the gentleman that got pulled out the field last week was Tank Williams' kid.
Okay.
And my son played baseball with his kid, Jackson, and he was like, Mom, that was Jackson. Like, he was texting him after the game. Like, so for as much as they're a rivalry, they're still community friends, you know? And
right across the river.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's an element that we didn't have. Like, we knew each other from, like, going to Fun Fest, but we didn't have Facebook growing up.
Right.
You know, we didn't know these kids. Like, we didn't, sports weren't like they are now. They're across the board. The kids play sports all year round.
Yes.
Like,
so when my middle one plays on travel baseball and he was playing with some of the kids that played over from Springdale, we joke about it, but, like, he'd be like, Mom, can you drop me off over in Springdale? And I'm like, ooh. But, you know, I'm not even from here, but and we'd go over and play basketball with them. So look, there's, you know, I will say that Springdale has a place in my heart because again, I represented that district and I put a district office in Dynamo Plaza. My kids are like, Mom, I'm like, I'm not a Dynamo, but, like, I'm gonna be in Dynamo Plaza. But I do love, you know, that area, Springdale and Cheswick and Springdale Township. Like, they're amazing people that live there.
When you get older, you realize it takes like Oakmont's not big enough to sustain the, like, whole thing here. You know, it's like this building's in Cheswick, my building's in Cheswick. Like, you know, I thought about it. Like, when I was moving there, I'm like, oh man, I'm going into Dynamo country here. But, like, you realize that like these towns, all these little towns make up the nucleus of who we are.
Yep.
And, like, I don't think I realized it until when you were saying I ran and, like, when you were running and you were in these towns. Like, we are this area, you know?
Yes.
It's the towns that made us, you know?
Very much so. And the valley, especially the Allegheny Valley, and I say the northern corridor up to, like, Fraser Township and things like that, those people have never left. Yeah. They're still there. And they are such salt of the earth, great people that, you know, I laugh about it and I say, I'm going to go knock doors. There's something about knowing the people in your community. And when you knock on their door, you know where they live. So, you know, the woman that ran David's Diner for a long time, I would go to her door. She was right on Freeport Road. I'm like, we'd yell at each other about just because she was mad, I was mad, during the shutdowns. I think about how many people I met running that race when I won my House seat, and it was pretty incredible.
Yeah. I find it funny because we've talked ad nauseum we built our plant kind of alongside this podcast. So like we talked about how I was getting out of retail. I was taking my life back. Like I didn't want to have a storefront to maintain. Like it was too much, and I wanted to do all home delivery. And now we're a year into that, and there's a part of me missing. I need to know my customers a little more. Like I need that in my life a little bit. Like I need somewhere for us to congregate. So we're going to open a store November 2nd in Aspinwall because I love that part of like the community aspect of it.
Well, and there's something about that personal face-to-face interaction that, I will say that people talk about AI, and I'm like, if you don't have that personal interaction, you can work. AI is great in terms of working smarter and working faster, but if you don't have that people contact, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm actually excited to knock on doors to get signatures for these lights because, quite honestly, I want to know who's going to say no. Right.
And not only that, you get to know your neighborhood again.
Oh, listen, I find it very interesting because I've been in Oakmont for 25 years, and I love when people, like that woman was sitting in front of me and she was opposing the lights. I'm like, oh, wait, who are you? Like, wait a minute, who are you? Yeah. Because I knocked those doors when I was on council, and then I knocked them again when I was running for my state House seat. So, there's been such a changeover in Oakmont of new young families. Yeah. And a lot of them don't know me personally, but, they're going to know me with these lights.
So anybody listening to this, if they want, and you didn't knock on their door, which I doubt you haven't at this point, if they're watching this, because you're going to knock on everybody's door. I know you are, because I know how you operate. But if you happen to not, they weren't home, and you didn't get to them, how do they get a hold of you so that you can get their signature?
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting out some feet on the street with signatures. And then the Raiders Athletic Boosters Association will meet at Vinny's, I think Sunday, I think that's October the 5th, around 6, 7 o'clock at night. I'll have signature forms there as well. But I'm planning on getting to doors and getting to some of the younger moms at 10th Street so they know, because, 10th Street will eventually end up at Riverview. And getting that, my neighbor came by the other day and she's like, so where do I sign? I'm like, hold on, I'll get you a sheet.
Can they reach out to you on Facebook and stuff like that?
They can reach out to me on Facebook, Carrie Lewis, it's under, or the Raider Athletic Boosters Association RABA page, or they can email me, Riverview RABA, so RABA, Riverview, and then RABA@gmail.com. Perfect. And I can email them a sheet. And they can collect signatures, because the more signatures I have, the more I have to present, the more people are going to look at that sheet and say, we better vote for this. We are the constituency. We are the ones who vote people in on council, and they do run for office every 2 years.
100%. Well, this is really nice.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you in here.
Sorry, my blood sugar went low.
No, it happens.
No one even knows about that. Yeah. If you didn't say anything, no one would have known.
No one would know. We were going to cut all that out.
Beeping. Jerry's like, what's wrong with you?
They just think you're important.
Jerry.
I know a thing or two about that. I know how those work.
Well, yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. So, you've been it's weird when you say 25 years, you've been in Oakmont my whole adult life. So.
Yeah, I will say this. Oakmont is a great place to live.
It's a great town, and the kids need a voice, and you're doing that. So.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.